pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. From what was posted on the website on Friday, we kind of realigned things to accommodate people that are giving presentations. So we're going to start with the Windmill Historical Society. Mr. Jones, you had some ideas for us and propositions and proposals for the windmill.
Shall I get up or shall I sit?
Yeah, why don't you, Chair, do you want to sit up there?
No, I just tell you what we got. Dawn Ledoux's a trustee with the Historical Society. She just completed 25 years at Leavenworth and just got out.
You know, Dawn is our Danielle and Bolton's sister. You know,
Oh, hey.
Oh, okay.
Fire marshal, your sister.
Right, yes, yes, we knew that. Yes.
Anyway, what we'd like to do, at least initially, is discuss holding the building open with people from the historical Greater West Hampton Historical Museum. Mouthful, but we changed our name. But anyway, we'll talk about it, but the idea is to try and get it open to get the public to come in and give tours. And we'll provide, I'll do the first couple of those or whenever I'm around, I don't care, but it's on a weekend and having it open so that people can come in, see the inside, explain the exterior. And then hopefully as the interest develops for the going in it, we'll have we have a school program now that we bring fourth and fifth graders, right? In to see it, which is it's important to be able to explain the mechanism, how things work, and we'll have drawings and illustrations and stuff. So but the idea now is to have about once a month.
Yeah, so ideally, what we wanted to do was to offer guided tours at the windmill that could be offered to the public maybe on, I don't know, the third Friday or Saturday of the month at 11 o'clock for an hour, and maybe periodically at 6 p.m. And people would make reservations ahead of time, and that either our education director, Larry Berdinka, or I would give the guided tour and just tell people about the history of the windmill. And then we are applying for a CAR grant, which is for educational material, and we wanted to create a brochure for the windmill, you know, just like a trifold brochure that would have pictures and the history of the windmill, and then laminate photos. I brought one from home. This is a big one, but it would be ideally about like half the size. So we could get up and we could say, this was Governor Dix, and he used to live in the wind, and have maybe about 10 different laminates about different aspects of the history of West Hampton, because I think a lot of people want to learn about the windmill and the history of it, and it's such a great landmark for a village. And then we wanted to approach the school to offer a school program, because currently we do programs for second, third, and fourth at the cemetery and the museum, but I'm sure kids are going to want to go to the windmill and learn. So we just wanted to approach you, and we thought the tours could be free because we could do them. They could be suggested donation or for a fee, but either or, but we're all willing to do that because it's such a great. Was there anything else about that?
No, I think that's pretty well covered. I mean, having something that we're going to have illustrations on the walls that would mirror what we would have laminated for people that come in.
Right, but I've done because I homeschool my kids, I've done programs everywhere at Oheka Castle, and I called them to find out the sizes. And when they have visual aid, it just makes a better tour. So I thought we could have the 7 windmills, an old map, where it originally was, whatever pictures we have, and that way it makes it easier for different people to give the guided tour. So that's kind of a vision we have as a museum, so we wanted to,
Well, I think that was the original intent of restoring the windmill, was to have a historic structure and have it be available to the public. And it's staffing it for the village is very difficult, so you stepping in to staff it and have a schedule of events, I think that's a terrific idea. And was the original intent, was to have this available to the public so they could see it and have the history presented to them. So that's a great idea. When it comes to asking for a fee or paid, I think if it's a historic museum event and you ask for donations, I don't think that would be a problem with the board. But if you start charging a fee, then we may have an issue because this is town-owned as well as village-owned. So we have to be careful of that situation, and we have to have, I don't know, Mr. Angel, will we have to have insurance from the museum since they are sponsoring the event, but it's on our property, but the town, we have insurance through the town for the windmill structure. I don't know about
I don't know
liability
what the
things.
insurance is, whether the insurance would cover somebody who's not an employee of the village. You have liability insurance,
Yes.
blanket liability insurance.
Right.
I think you might wanna ask Christian about that.
Or
But you probably have liability insurance also, don't you?
Do, I don't know how it applies off campus.
Well, it would work just like a UC Village property, Mayor, right? They
Right.
have insurance and they name the village as an additionally
You
insured.
could name the village. as
Right,
well.
that's how we do all our village events.
Right, that may be the easiest way, because right now, Mr. Angel, our current insurance with the windmill is through the town now, not through Christian. Because we kind of, in the original agreement, we were supposed to supply the insurance, and then that evolved that the town would take that responsibility, so it's
Was
part
that
of the
liability will switch?
liability insurance is under the town's policy, because the town owns, it's a ownership partnership between the town and the
Really
village.
need to find out what the if the policy was broad enough, you wouldn't need anything else. But if-
Okay, I can reach out to the town and find that out easily.
and then another question would be, I don't know if it matters, the numbers, like the maximum or minimum, because, like what that would be. Because if it would be outside and if they, yes, occupancy rate for how many, like if we had two people do a tour and
There's only one door in and one door out, but it's also only 18 feet wide. Let me check with our fire marshal.
You could have 49 persons in a one exit space, but you couldn't fit 49 persons in there if you tried.
We can stack them up. We've had 10 people in there before and they've kind of mosey around it, but
Right.
those are people that get bored quick and they left, so, you know.
I also think during the summer, I saw a lot of people going in, but they were wearing t-shirts, shorts, you know, it's another thing, you come in there, you got down coats on.
People are very excited to come in, I'm kind of surprised. I don't know why they're so excited, but they're very excited about the building being here, which we'd like to have a postcard or something one day that, like, this is the Hook Mill in East Hampton, and it's a Christmas card I just happened to see. And we understand that we cannot sell coffee cups or stuff.
Yes, we're not supposed to be,
Yeah.
have a vending, kind of a situation there.
And we were hopeful for a zip line, but we understand that that's probably out of the question as well.
You could do windmill rides too, just for kids on each plane and go from there.
That's a
You know.
great idea, especially for the younger light ones.
Yes.
you'd have
okay.
full attendance in
Um,
the school.
I have noticed artists sitting down and doing renderings during the summer because it's attracted a lot of attention, and we will be decorating it for Christmas with the
We
Christmas.
have one artist, a lady that, I forget her name, but she wants, if I supplied her with a sketch of the mechanical system, this is a woman that does landscapes, but apparently she's quite capable of doing these big drawings, but laminate them like this or hang one on the wall framed, but that shows a mechanism from where it turns on the wind shaft going down to the pump and the well pump and stuff. So, and she was gonna do that for free, so we'll see how it, comes out. If it's good, which I'm sure it will be, we could explain to people very easily by pointing at the picture what they're looking up at. And so that's all.
Any board members have any other questions or input or anything?
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. If you could furnish us with a sample calendar of events, like you mentioned, Fridays or Saturdays and times, and that you're willing to staff it, I can look into the insurance issue, and I think we can coordinate this pretty well. Okay?
All right, ready. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
You dropped an envelope.
Okay.
down
Everyone will be excited.
Okay. Thank you so much. And it's great to have some
Thank you.
people willing to staff it,
there.
and give the tours.
So what they're gonna say about, they're gonna
Oh,
talk next
yeah,
about the
I'm gonna-
benches that are gonna be there.
Oh,
So you may wanna just listen to that or too.
The next item is dealing with the windmill again. We had discussions about the bench locations, and then Kim and I had a subsequent discussion about bench locations, and I think DPW is ready to put in the foundations, where we had the proposed locations, except for on the approach walkways, you had it on the same side as the lights, so we're gonna put it on the opposite side of the lights, potentially.
So the
and-
lights are on the lights are on this side
Correct.
and this side or this side?
Lights are here,
Okay,
and the rock is here, and then lights are here.
so then bench is here.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. And Matt has a photo of this, right, on his phone.
Okay.
Okay.
You don't like my photo of this?
Wouldn't make the phone back.
Yeah, the only thing we said is for the two inner benches, we
Yes.
wanted to get
Backless was
backless ones.
Okay, we have the backed benches, and the question I raised with the backless, if you have them facing this way, then you're kind of facing the Great Lawn. The backless benches, if you have a dedication plaque, where do you put on? On the side, you think?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, well, we have the backed benches in stock.
Right.
And we can look into backless benches
Yes.
made of teak.
Similar.
We should something, that
Yeah.
would match, just.
Right, right.
But yeah.
And
But
we
Matt
could
can
evolve
start
to
with
that.
the location of putting the,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, like the same
So
dimensions,
that-
just no back.
Right, would you be okay with us putting the back ones in for now, and then when the backless comes in, then you can swap them out, and it's really not the other ones, but that's up to you guys, or do you wanna hold off on those?
I would just hold off on those two.
Yeah, to see. I also don't mind seeing what they look like before you like bolt them down,
Okay.
maybe, cause you're gonna put like if you have the 4 other ones,
Yeah.
and then we'll just place it there to go look at it.
Yeah, we just, the backless, the whole thing with the backless, those two being where they are is,
So you could face
construction
it.
and you can face either.
Okay. All right, so we can start, the location is set.
Right.
For the 6 locations, and then the backlist we'll
Yeah.
pursue.
Yeah.
Okay? All right. Anything else? Anybody else?
Responsibilities.
Sure. Okay, anything else, board members?
Nope.
Okay, good. 6 location. 2 backlist, question mark. Good. Okay. Thank you. Next item, Rich's Bay Project sign on the fenced enclosure. They asked for a sign, and Aaron is here to give us an example.
This is actually full size.
It's a pretty modest sign. Big deal about a little sign. Okay.
I just put it on there. We probably wouldn't even notice.
Yeah. Approved. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, and all the board members know what we're talking about. Do you have a particular orientation?
Diagonally.
Diagonally like this, and northeast, northwest, you planning on the gate, the opening gate, whatever?
Yeah, probably somewhere, just to make people know that it's.
Okay. All right.
People like that.
I like that.
Any concerns?
They had one on a post and it made it like, I don't know, a month, someone knocked it over, so just attach it to the fence, and it's blockers.
Okay. All right,
Great.
sounds
Thanks
good.
very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, appreciate it. Thanks for making the trip. This is 6 by 6 inches, right?
That might be 6.5 inches.
That's okay. Well,
Well, yeah. Plus verbiage.
Yeah.
All right, got it. See attached. It'll be in the resolution.
that'd be nice, so people know what it is.
Yes.
Not to exceed 8.5 by 11.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. Next item on the agenda, beach rules and rates. We were going to discuss these earlier with the marina rules and rates, and then we asked for an adjournment requested. So we adjourned it to this particular meeting.
Did we get feedback from,
One,
in the summer?
The summer feedback was that he managed it well, I think. I think people appreciated the ability to transfer the second sticker to whatever vehicle. The drawback was a loss of revenue, because some people that would normally have to pay as a renter achieve the $40 second sticker.
Yep.
In lieu of the $600 and something renter fee. So we had a loss of revenue in that respect. Other than that, he managed it okay. He seemed to be, it got settled in after a few bumps. Whenever there's a change in these rules and rates, it's always an adjustment period. Or sometimes when there's a change in mayors, there's an adjustment period too. So, but yeah, it went relatively smoothly.
I think it was easier for the staff, because not that many people complained, but I do think that we lost some money. I'd like to know the exact numbers, because in my opinion, we should start with how much it costs to run the beach and the staff and the maintenance and all of that, and just see how we can get to that number in a fair way. But there's a lot of categories here. And then I also am interested to see what actually was like purchased, like how many of the seasonal renters in West Hampton, Remsenburg, Spion versus seasonal renters in West Hampton Beach versus non-resident taxpayer West Hampton, Remsenburg, Spion, Quia. Just those items, just what that looked like this summer as opposed to other summers, and did we have, I'm sure we had a drop in the non-resident taxpayers. If you have a family that you know in another town, you can just give them that pass, and then that's $650 that we're not getting. So maybe it's not a big deal, and maybe the numbers are closer than we think, but I think we should look at what that cost is and then figure out how we can fairly get to that number, estimated on how many people purchase the passes, because that's a realistic thing.
We're looking for a break-even kind of a
Yes.
situation financially.
I could do that for the next 2 years or
Yeah,
3 years.
just to see because I don't know, it might not, I know we have some arguments to make, and I don't know if it's like how much money we're really talking about. Did we really lose a lot of money this summer, or was it not that much, or can we make it up in another way? So we just look at what our cost is and what we need to get to, also including that I'm sure there's gonna be raises at some point going forward, so just keeping that in mind as well, so that we're just not losing money on it.
This past year, the raises went in.
Yes.
And it raised
Right.
Yep.
more, paid more for lifeguards and everything else,
Yes.
so that's why
Yep.
the revenue stream is down.
Yeah,
We went this way at the $40, not even change.
yes,
Part of the thing that started, that precipitated some of these changes was the minimum wage and trying to compete with that. So we encountered larger increases than normal because we were trying to compete with the minimum wage requirements. Not that we had to meet them, but we're trying to compete with them. So, we have no choice. So we can get a 2 or, what do you want, 2 or 3 year look
yeah, I
back?
mean, I think the first year was the $40,
I
right?
say we go the year before the $40.
Yes,
see what
the year
happens.
before the
Cause
$40.
everyone was getting their passes out,
Yes.
see, we didn't have 40 then.
And that's what I mean, like just seeing the numbers wise, like, okay, and also I know it depends also with renters, right? Because we have good seasons and we have not so great seasons, so there's that too, but just looking at it and what to expect for this year and even budgeting wise, so we can make a good decision on, do we need to raise anything? Do we need to lower anything? And do you think we'll get more to that number? I mean, even, you know, lowering the $650 to $400, will more people buy it? I don't know, you know, like things like that, I think we should talk about.
Right.
Because that is a lot of money for some people, for most people probably. So I'm just curious, if it was less money, would more people buy it? Would we need to increase or decrease it somewhere else? And then what the cost of the staff and everything would be? So yeah, probably like before the $40, so that's 2 years, 3 years?
$40 has been in effect for 2 years
So
now.
then 3 years.
And so go back 3 years, yes.
Yeah.
And the second pass being assignable
Is
was
what
just last year.
Mhm.
So if we go back 3 years, we'll encompass all the different situations that we've gone through. Okay? All right. And then we can continue this discussion at the next work session.
Year-round renters, I have a question about that.
Go ahead.
Where you have rental properties that have more than, like, multiple apartments. I don't like the wording, a year-round renter of residential property in the village is deemed a maximum of 1 auto sticker, so long as no resident taxpayer auto stickers have been issued for that particular property. I don't agree with that.
What are you proposing?
Well, like, use Morgan House, for example, there's 8 apartments, actually 8, 9, 10 apartments. 10, 11, 12, so 11 apartments.
I think that was the intent, that the property defines like the apartment or the unit. I think that we could probably put in unit or apartment. I don't think everybody thought like at the Morgan House, there would be one permit.
Yeah.
Well, so,
I
just
think the property
because I was
was
one of
meant
the
to
people
defer
that
to-
argued this year, I've been there 9 years, and for 8 years, there was a list at the beach, you showed your proof of that you lived there, and you got a sticker. This year, when we all went, we were told it's $40, and then I had an argument with the girl, but I was like, So clearly, either it was changed, or they think it was changed, because it was.
The beach staff does their best to interpret all these regulations with specific situations that come before them, and sometimes it would be nicer if these were more,
Defined. So if the wording still, so if that goes back to that way where, and I know Marcus used to give the beach every year a list of the residents, so they knew how many stickers they were allowed to issue. So if that's still the case, then I don't have any problems with this, but if we need to define it better.
okay, so we need, do you have what section are you talking with?
B. 1B.
1B. Year-round renter, maximum,
more than 3 cars.
It's not that you're paying rent, you're paying apartments, so you are individual, so that doesn't make no sense. It would make the most sense, it's not going to the Morgan House, it's going to each individual apartment
With their, yeah,
within the.
with their lease.
So year-round village renter, apartment,
Well,
or single family, or
I think
how do you?
this
probably
is,
define it as sort of like by unit, that property would include unit.
I would say unit number, unit.
In a multiple residence, I mean, that could come up with a single, I mean, theoretically, it could come up where I live, where everybody's got 180 Main Street. Units 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I mean, you could interpret it that way.
Right, so like one per unit or however.
We should just define, I think that was the intent, I think probably I drafted this stuff, and you guys modified it a little bit, but the intent was that it would apply only to that particular property that you occupy,
right,
which is the idea, you
Yeah.
know? So, we can just work on a definition of what property is related to the residential unit.
And there's no like special rule, like the property owner doesn't get 8
Well-
stickers, like each individual, like it's always been, you have to go to the beach or come to the village office.
You don't want us, if your last name is Rizzo, you gotta pay in $800.
That's right. You know, this guy's coming again, charge him triple.
so do you have to bring, before, did you have to bring your driver's license and utility bill? Or, like, did you have?
I had to bring the registration and
Okay,
my license.
okay.
And you said Morgan House, and they always pulled out a binder that
Okay.
had the current residents.
It was listed there as rental.
Each one occupies their own separate property, depending on how you want to define it.
There's not really many properties like that, honestly.
Right, there's only a few.
The condos are all individually owned, so they don't pay their own tax bills, so that's a separate thing.
The condos probably are, yeah, because they're in your system as, like, I own the condo.
Yeah.
So I'm in the system as a property owner separately.
Right.
They just look at the names of all the property owners. But this theoretically could come up with a couple of the co-ops too. Depends on how they look at them. I don't
Right.
know.
And
Because
it's
that's the
make it easier on the beach staff because it's more.
Well, yeah, and I felt bad for her. I kept saying, "Well, you're wrong. Like I've lived here for 7 years. Like you're wrong."
Yeah, they were adjusting to the changes that.
The same thing, the new apartments on Main Street, and the 3 units in that place that burned down, right, 3 units or 4 units, so they should be individual.
Yeah, they would be individual.
Because they're not one person is renting
And
all
then
day.
Okay, so they become actually residential units rather than commercial units. I think there was some confusion as to the commercial aspect of the multifamily.
Well, that's a different issue, but,
Oh,
I think the intent was, as Chris mentioned before, that if you have your own residential unit and you occupy it as a year-round resident of the village of West Hampton Beach, whether it's a mansion or whether it's an apartment or whether it's a condo or a co-op, you're treated, you're not
the same.
a resident.
Yeah,
You know, you get a permit. So,
Yeah.
I think we just define
Yeah, yeah.
property.
However, we can make it easier
Yeah,
for the beach staff.
it's not gonna be difficult, yeah, I'll take a look at it.
Right.
Because
So in this one, I'm gonna put Mr. Angel's gonna handle it. All we have to do is take care of the rest. That's our problem.
well, I'm also
Problem is, will I remember to
curious
take
to
it?
see, like, we should, with the rates, though, there are a lot of categories.
We should.
We should think about, like, if there's a way that we can consolidate some, I mean, it'd be easier for the beach staff, probably be easier to understand as a resident, non-resident, what you were. I mean, the student one is pretty straightforward, I think that's okay. The hotel bed and breakfast, we should probably write in the village of West Hampton, I hope that's clear, but, you know.
Yeah. Well, that applied to, we had a couple issues
Yeah.
with the hotel, 7 Beach, and also, help me out here. Dune Deck, yes. So they were, right now, they're that has their ocean side that they own, their own beach. They have their own beach. They were taking advantage of the bayside situation by putting out umbrellas, chairs, towels, coolers, jet skis.
After you spoke with him, was that still a thing?
No, they were very, well, at first, they were a little reluctant, but then it evolved, that they needed to use the village property to do that, that we thought. And they were very cooperative. But I can see them approaching us again on providing these kinds of amenities for their, because it's popular with, I guess, the younger kids, the families that stay there.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, we should set up a fee structure that's gonna, they have to
We
pay.
have to accommodate it somehow
With
with
something, they pay.
have
I mean,
insurance.
right now, it's $10 a day per patron of a hotel.
Well,
Well, I
the
think-
hotel, they pay, I think it's $10 a day.
Well, yeah, and then they have, they keep a list of people and then they pay, I think.
Right.
Just to make it simple, where they pay us for use of that property over there, a fee, whatever the fee is for the year. And then they hand out a sticker, you go across the street, you're able to use it. That's make it simple, not gonna make it super big.
It's $10 a day.
It's crazy.
The hotels,
They buy a pass.
for Seven Beach, if you have a hotel room, it's $10 to
We're not
use
worried
the
about that
beach.
$10.
And the hotel just doesn't, it used to be the Grassmere, they would send people down and people would pay their own $10. Seven Beach just gives them a list and pays all the money. But Seven Beach also started providing chairs and umbrellas and things like that, and started setting them up and then storing them. And they were for exclusive use at Rogers Beach, exclusive use of their patrons. And we had a problem with that too. So,
Well, they could bring it down and take it back. Could
Yes.
they could
If they-
store it.
if they put it out for their patron when the patron is there and then put it away right away, as if they were, we allow other people to carry their own chairs on the beach and their own umbrellas on the beach and set them up, and that's fine. But for a commercial entity to start isolating a portion of the beach for their exclusive use, I have a problem with that.
You can't do that, and.
Right.
So what is, like $10 a day is like a fee that the village gets for them to get like a day pass?
Yes.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
I think that's what it is, if you were to bring a guest with you, is that right? A guest
The
is
hotel
$10.
guest gets that.
Well, if I brought a guest with me though,
No.
and I didn't have a
You
pass.
get-
Like,
Well,
I,
your
if I,
pass gets you two people to go with you.
but let's say I had someone visiting,
Oh, I didn't
With
even know
me.
that was a thing.
yeah, and then I invited them to come with me,
Sounds like two
I have
rats.
to go with my pass, and I think they're $10 each. Is that right?
It says that if you go.
right. Okay, yeah. Everyone just looked at me like, that's not right, okay.
So, I mean,
Yes, you're free.
listen,
No, they charge you.
up to.
Up to 4.
Yeah. And
Before you-
then,
before you get
so if
your
I bring like a
passes.
family with me, then
You can get four
technically,
baskets.
well, no, I can't give them my passes because
No,
they're
They're
assigned to
supposed to
me,
be,
yes.
Supposed to-
so
Some of
They're
them,
It
assigned.
used to have photo IDs with some of these passes.
Gotcha. So it is, the concern is crowding. Raise the fee, like $10, like who cares?
Well, I don't mind if they're going per person $10, as long as they're not like blocking the beach off, that you can't go in a certain area, you know, that's, then
I think we should discuss the fee, but I think, like you said, getting the financial data and then
Yes.
backing into a number would be easier. And I don't think if it's been $10 forever, I honestly don't think to raise it is out of the question.
yeah.
guests are limited, guests are limited to 4 per beach pass.
4.
4 per beach pass. How many people you bringing to Charlie? So you, your 2 sons and your husband could bring in 16 people.
Oh my gosh, don't tell them that.
issues with that as well.
Well, we'll start from the
Okay.
top of the number,
We'll start with
and then
the
we'll get to,
budgetary
we'll get
items.
to a fair thing,
And
yes.
I don't wanna open a can of worms here, but, you know, if you're a transient voter and you pay your transient fee at the marina, you get a beach pass. And the beach pass is that our dock master calls Sean John, says, this guy's staying at the village marina, let him on. Okay. So we have some old school traditions that are going on, and having a beach pass for the transient voters do appreciate going to the beach. As a matter of fact, Mike Lewinsky
Well, they're gonna
occasionally
walk
gives him a
on.
ride in his private
I don't know,
vehicle,
they
which
get
I told him not to do anymore.
That was a big deal for the dock master, hand him a card, just get you on the beach.
Yeah,
Just
that's a
give
walk
him
on.
a card. Yeah, let's go.
I think the main concern has always been the car sticker, the car pass. So I don't think the walk-ons, anybody, we want everyone to enjoy, but the car sticker.
Well, the walk-ons are an issue, especially with the parking on the opposite side of the bridge.
Right.
That creates a number of walk-ons. So if we just let anybody walk on, no parking pass, no walk-on, we don't wanna eliminate
Oh, no,
walk-on
we
passes.
wanna keep the walk-on pass, but
Okay,
I'm
good.
saying
No,
that,
yeah, no.
Okay, good.
Well,
I'm saying that to, the voters should have one, they're there anyway, it doesn't impact the parking, which would be a bigger issue,
Okay,
yes.
well, wait, if you don't get deep into it and you don't have it correctly defined.
It's worked for 40, 50 years now. Stop it.
No, it didn't, it was broken for 40 or 50 years in different ways, but oh well.
We'll start
Okay.
from the beginning of how much it
We'll check.
costs, and
Yeah.
then we'll try to
All
just get there.
So this discussion, are we good for today and we'll continue at next meeting? Okay, all right, to be continued, and we'll get more information. The next item, electric bike scooter codes. I would like to, I had it on the agenda because we promised to have it on the agenda. But at this point, I've gotten some more information and I would like us to hold off on developing our own code. And we're also gonna be talking about it at the mayor's and supervisors meeting, this upcoming one. I did attend a webinar with NICOM, and it came up in that meeting, it's a statewide problem, and apparently the assembly or the state is considering making it a law that no matter electric bike, whatever, if it goes over 20 or 25 miles an hour, then you need insurance, license, registration, helmet, lights, just like you do if for a motorcycle. So if that happens, that will alleviate some of our problems. And with the children driving 40 miles an hour down the road in an electric bike without any lights or helmet, or terrorizing the rest of our constituents. So I think we should wait and see. Again, it'll be presented at the mayors and supervisors and update, so we can hold off on pursuing this further until we see how the state manages, I think. Any other comments, questions on that one?
Those are definitely need to be addressed. Kids are out of control with these bikes.
Yes.
Riding on the sidewalks, riding all over the place,
Right.
you're walking out of your driveway, somebody's gonna get killed or hit, injured.
Right.
Because they're looking by at 20 miles an hour.
just West Hampton Beach,
Everywhere.
it's everywhere. It's the state, New York City, everywhere. Okay. Paid parking. Once again, the chief was gonna present some more information to us on this. He's away at a training session, so we will be talking about this more. I would like to thank Bill Sutton for the article in the paper. That was well done and well put, that we are looking into it, investigating it. It is a source of income. It might potentially serve to build up some funds so we could eventually buy a property to increase property that's available for parking within the village. Right now, I think we have $1,200 in our parking fund, so that won't buy much property. So those are things we will be looking into, but I can understand that there's a lot of thought has to go into this because we have a combination of municipal lots, private lots, an underused lot, an overused lot, and all those things have to be taken into consideration because we don't want to make things worse.
Where do we ever end up on, as far as, you know, new businesses in town, like a restaurant that wants to open up and they need a certain amount of parking spots per seat?
We have that in the code, but it's seldom used. It's expensive, and at this point, where we are, particularly on Main Street, with the sewer situation and the county requiring that we have actual flow numbers once everyone's connected.
Yeah.
Before we move forward and start opening this up even more. That's the thing that's limiting this now, and in the future, once the flow is established and if there is availability, then the parking will kick in again as a requirement.
Yeah.
But we do have a code. I think it's
No,
is it
there's-
$6,000.
there's-
What is it? Brett? $5,500.
Yeah, for that,
Yeah.
which adds up really quickly if you're, so are you just not approving anything new, or is it that we're not?
Like a change of use.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to approve any change of use, a wet use, dry use to a wet use.
Okay.
At this point.
So let's say someone put an apartment on a building on Main Street or anything like that. Is there more apartments in that new building now? That one that just went up or same amount?
Same amount. That was 3-story. It was 2 apartments over 2 apartments.
Yeah.
128, and then now it's, instead of 3 stories, it's 2 stories, but all 4 apartments are on the site. So it's not an increase in beds or apartments. But, so restaurant expansion requires a special exception. So it would come to this board. Apartments also requires a special exception, so it would come to this board. It's not like the DPW, Suffolk County DPW has not approved some increases in flow since we started this year. So it's not, it's hard to say, it's not really across the board. But we do have some pending applications for planning board, which eventually come to this board, which will need approval from the sewer agency to see if there's additional flow from that. It's not straightforward at this point. But that is gonna work itself out in some way, shape, or form. The pressure now is more on the parking, restaurants, what I had.
Yeah, there's nothing. So if you say, hey, you can have this restaurant, but you need to buy 3 parking spots to meet this, we don't really have those extra 3 spots that keep on giving up.
Right.
So it's kind of dead end.
But yeah.
Well, if you don't designate it, you just, right, you just say.
Well, it does run with the property. So if you get a variance for 3 spaces for parking spaces, you pay that fee, then that property forever will have those grandfathered non-existent spaces. So if they change use later on, they can say, well, I have 5 spaces, but I also have 3 variants, and we look at it like as a but that runs with the property, not typically the restaurateurs who most often are renting, leasing, what have you.
Right. Right, which could change over and
That
then,
could change, they're the ones paying for it probably, it's benefiting the landlord, it's not always the same person. We did, a couple of years ago, we had, Ron did a traffic study, and found that, because there was talk about maybe we can relax, the restaurant's important, we can relax some of the parking. Unfortunately, there were things we could tweak in that, but what was pretty clear is like parking is at its worst on like Saturday and Friday nights at like dinner time, like 6 to to the nines. And they were concentrated in the areas that people complained about, like on Main Street within the circles, and then within Mitchell to the Mill Circle, and then also Carlotta lot is just jammed up all the time. But then there was evidence that the Glover's lot behind the firehouse or the east and west ends still had available parking even on those busy nights. I think that's why we've talked about either some sort of paid parking or changing the limits. Because it's obvious that Carlotta is just jammed up with employees. I mean, it's just not, or, business owners or some residents, I'm sure. It doesn't really function as a municipal lot. We would like it to function. It doesn't seem like people are driving in there, parking, doing their business and leaving. It's more, there's one or two spots open at any given time. And it's just, people are certain.
Have we appealed to the business owners?
Yeah.
To say, hey, please make your employees park.
I think the prime example, the chief appealed to the farmers market vendors directly through the chamber, and he was there asking, once you deliver your goods, please park down in the firehouse parking lot to leave room for more customers. It's too inconvenient for them to do that. So in my mind, they kind of shoot themselves in the foot because they're not.
Yeah, sure. Well,
Yeah.
I think it's possible, but I couldn't see the restaurant. It's to their benefit to not have to listen to their
Yes.
customers complain that there's no parking if they're telling their employees, you must park.
That's preferred, because I think that would just, if somebody's there at 8 o'clock in the morning and, they're change a shift and that same spot is there till 10 p.m., and it just doesn't change. But I mean, I think a lot of store owners want to park there also, and they're there all day. And maybe it's one, so they don't see themselves as like a big, issue because it's one person, but it does add up if they're all there. And I think that's why the chief and we looked into paid parking. It's not, no one's looking to hurt a business or someone or make it difficult because, there's going to be, is it an app? Is it a kiosk?
I agree with this.
But I
was
just,
here for that.
yeah, I just don't know if, trying to come up with, like Brad said, maybe a time.
Well, we
Some
do
kind
2
of
hours, like
time.
we used to do years ago, they used to block the time.
Yeah,
If your car was there more than 2 hours, you got a ticket.
right.
Okay, so you start hitting them in the pocket, they're not gonna park there, especially the employees.
Yeah.
So
But should it,
employees
should
gotta
it be
get-
4
get a
hours
list from
and
the-
go to
each one of
dinner
your
and walk
employees,
around?
A list of cars and plate numbers of who your employees are, and they have to be designated. If not, go by and start writing them tickets.
Yeah.
I mean, they hate to say that, but, they're taking up valuable parking spots for everybody who feeds off this whole community.
Right.
So if customers can't come in, they're not going to your shop, they're not going to your store,
Right.
your restaurant, they're not gonna go.
Right.
So they need to help abide by this thing. But I think that 2 hour parking like we used to have, remember they used to walk by in the old days, we used to show up the tire, and they walk by the cop, walk by.
No.
No, but I'm saying,
It's
you
an
know,
app
help them
now.
with that.
You can't, we still issue a lot of, TCOs this past season issued a tremendous number of parking tickets. And it's on an electron, you can't chalk the tires anymore. You can't do
I'm
that.
just saying, I'm just talking about the chalk tires, just the.
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's,
Yes.
You know what it is.
But that's for the 2 hour,
we have the 2 hour limit on Main Street. We do.
but it's not enforceable.
Yes, it is.
It's enforceable
summer.
on Main Street, but not in the back parking lot.
Back parking.
There's no limit back
Back
there.
parking lots are not,
And that's where it gets really, I think that's really where it gets filled up. But we also, there's a lot of talk, there is not a parking problem now. Like now you can park wherever you want. It's really just in the summer. So the paid parking also was a way to try to figure out how we can make this a little bit easier and make people understand it more and you're not trying to harm anybody. And we don't need to build a parking garage because we don't have this problem year round. It's just 3 months in the summer. So what can we do to help people park
I
outside?
think the 2 hour limit's really gonna pressure people to take an Uber or to not come because dinner's gonna go, they're gonna, the whole time at dinner, you'd be worried about like, oh, what time is my
Yeah,
car?
it should be
So
like 4.
And 2 hours is not really.
You know, it's not enough.
You did discuss eating and browsing shopping,
Yeah.
just kind of.
If you're eating, getting ice cream,
So you increase it a little bit, but even a lot of the restaurants in summer, they have time limits on the tables.
yes.
They really need to turn the tape.
Yeah, they need to turn the.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think if we have an idea of what that.
You're saying put time limits in the back parking lots instead of paid parking?
Both.
Well, I think it should be paid still.
Yeah.
Oh, paid.
But paid, I'm just saying that time limit's gonna really help, whether paid or not, it's
Right.
gonna push people to really
Yeah.
move.
In the parking, in the municipal parking lots, that's the only place we can do
Yes.
this.
Yes.
Yeah, but make the North Glover's lot no time.
No
No
time limit, free.
Right.
So then if you're an employee, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because less people who just come to the village want to park on Main Street or park very close to Main Street, they might not know Glover's, but
Right.
if you're an employee, you should be incentivized to park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, East Hampton, I believe they're the ones that first 2 or 3 hours are free, and then you start paying after that. And
Yeah,
it's
you have to get a
incremental.
ticket.
The more, longer
None
you
of
stay,
the
the more
employees
you
park there
pay.
anymore.
No,
So,
but where do they park?
There's a separate lot. I
Yeah.
don't remember exactly where.
I think the in looking at Sag Harbor, because they have done this and got some backlash from this also, so it's kind of, I think the chief is looking into what they're doing to alleviate some of like, you know, for the people that live in the apartments on Main Street, where do they park? Do they get a special sticker or where, you know, there's all those things are what Sag Harbor is dealing with, and the chief knows more than I do about how that's going and what they're encountering. They've been doing it for maybe 3 summers.
How does that one house on Main Street get a designated space?
Well,
you know, you ready?
That's, yeah.
Would love to.
That was during the Main Street project. Well, they've traditionally had a designated spot forever. They had no curb cut, they had no driveway, and it's a residence. So during the Main Street project, we looked into giving them a curb cut and having them have a driveway and park their vehicle on their own property. It would have taken 3 parking places to give them a curb cut because of the angle parking. So it's more prudent to give them 1 parking space than lose 3.
Drop.
That makes sense.
Sag Harbor,
Okay.
they were giving parking passes to
Yes.
employees, and they vastly underestimated how many employees, like some of these clothing shops, like you don't think about it, there could be 6 people working there at any given time, and they all have their own cars, because people are really carpooling like that.
Yes. Yes.
So I think that was eye-opening, even though we're not the same as them,
Right.
to read that, like, oh, what do we need, like 1,000? And it was like 4 times more than what they thought was
Yeah.
for employees.
That's why I'm interested to see like what other villages have done. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We could just kind of see what they've done. We know where our problems are. It's mainly that back lot. I think that's where most, and that's also, you know, you do have a lot of people parking there, and they want to go to dinner and walk around. You know, I do find that, or maybe see a show. Right, so you're gonna have people seeing a show, they don't wanna worry that they're gonna have to go move their car,
Or
you know, so,
go to dinner and go shopping.
yes, and we could also work with like the PAC and let them know there is maybe tell everyone on your tickets, on your, you know, on, that there is a free lot here, maybe we should come up with like a parking map to let people know where the lots are, so if they're going to the PAC to see a show, you know, they can, or on the restaurant's website, they can pull up our parking map and say, okay, this lot's free, I'm gonna just go there. So that they know ahead of time too, because the last thing you wanna do, you're running late to a show or, you know, trying to relax and go to dinner is get to a parking lot that you have a limit on and now you can't park and now it kinda
I think
changes
most
your
of
night.
Southampton Village, I think it's Main Street has a limit, but I
Yeah.
don't think the lots do.
Yeah, the back one doesn't, I don't think. It is bigger, I think,
That's,
too.
that's, the way we are right now is 2-hour limit on Main Street and no
Right.
limit anywhere else. So,
Again, with that,
what we do, go ahead.
so I was just saying, with Ron's parking study, we didn't really have a problem on the west end or the east end, it was just in the center, so.
Right.
We could do something like that too, like have time limit parking and then not at the periphery.
Right,
The other thing that I worry about is we have, I think probably more private lots lots than some of the other villages do, that we have no control over. Like Chase Bank owns their lot, Walgreens, their lot, and they've been, and the Mitchell and Maine, that area has its own back parking lot. Those are all private lots. We may, Moneybug, we may impact people going to you. Right now, Walgreens, I have to say, is very, very flexible with, particularly with library demand for parking and things like that. A lot of people park in Walgreens that aren't going to Walgreens. And they've been, and I have to say, I think all the private lots are very accommodating in that way right now. Yeah. Yeah, and I don't want to abuse that, or, you know, whatever, however you wanna, I think we have to be very conscious of that. So, it's not a simple thing right now, but we'll keep looking into it and talking about it, and maybe start incrementally and be able to back off if we need to, or change, or evolve the situation. I'm looking forward to 20 years from now. When everybody has their electric car, they close a button in the car, is there, you go, no parking needed.
Now, one thing I did notice though is that it is nice to have a kiosk and like an app, you know, because it is hard sometimes, you don't have internet, or it's very frustrating on your
Yes.
phone. And if you could also have the option of going to the kiosk, I think that's something that we should just think about when we're doing this, because that is easier for everyone. Not that we have to keep it forever, you know, as time goes on, maybe we don't need it at all, but starting out, we should think about.
Kiosks are becoming less and less.
They are.
app-based.
They are,
Yeah.
but I think that, like, you know, it's frustrating for people who don't use their phone and are running somewhere to go and scan and log in, and what's my license plate number, and how long, where's my credit card, get me your credit card. If you could just go type it in, get your ticket, and just be on your way, I don't know, we have to look into what all that costs. But we should think about looking into both things to start, is my opinion.
I think on-speed parking was, the design, or the intent was to try to minimize the burden on us and the village to try to catch these people more, that they just kind of. Not that it can kind of be a massive moneymaker, or, but we also said we could potentially use this to encourage parking, not behind the firehouse and the public parking lot, and maybe that lot's free, or Main Street's $1.25 or whatever. It's just little things to incentivize versus, you know, actually.
Yeah, I remember we talked about having a map in the parking lot of other lots. Did we talk about that at one
The
point?
whole wayfinding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so just like, I'm just trying to figure out like where most people are getting their information, so, you know, like we've said, if they're coming from out of town, going to see a show or going to dinner, that they would know where to go beforehand, if they're looking. Some people don't look, but just so it's a little bit easier to navigate. I don't know what all that would look like, but
Problem is, people
Just think about
are inherently late.
yes,
For
they
better
want
or
to be
worse.
right in front.
My grandmother will sit in the parking lot and wait until the first spot opens versus, you know, driving 3 spaces back because she has to have her first spot.
Yeah.
So it's 10 minutes to that, you know. I look at it like the bags, when they made the shopping bags like 25 cents.
Mhm.
Doesn't really matter if you spend $300 in groceries, but you know, a lot of people brought tote bags. It's just something psychological about it. So, yeah,
Right.
not about making money, it's just when you get money, it puts people on notice in a different way. Well, we would like you to park in this lot. That lot was still empty in the height of the
Yes.
summer. So no matter how many times you tell the restaurateurs, like, your people to park up there, it's like, it doesn't change.
But back to the revenue, my prior village, it's a year-round village, so
Yes.
we make 600,000 a year. You know, so it is kind of.
Yeah.
This can be a revenue source.
And we could change it too. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, app base is the easiest.
We have the
But I just
coins.
know-
You still
It's
Go to
huge.
the bank and, oh yeah.
your license plate, and you know,
We
there's
broke all the time.
just the benefits of the paid parking system is the data you'll know, hey,
That's
everybody's staying here 2 hours and 37 minutes.
And the
Okay, let's
first
adjust
year.
our times, or they're all coming here at 7 PM.
Yeah.
So there is a back end information that we could really gain knowledge from using the system, and you could turn it off in the off season.
That's
You
right.
Make it $0 for a holiday if you want to say, hey,
Yeah.
encourage Christmas shopping, when they have a sidewalk sale, you know,
Yeah.
Somewhere in July and August, honestly.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
It's when the
Right.
kids get out of school, and then July and August to Labor Day. Yeah. I'm not trying to make it difficult, just trying to make it function better.
We can charge Starbucks and make a fortune.
That's right.
Whoever stops,
Oh, yeah.
whoever stops in the driveway, you're like.
Whoever stops mid-lane.
$5.
Right.
Or in the circle. I've seen them stop in the circle.
Yeah.
They do it all the time, all the time.
Wow.
Okay, so to be continued, and, Bill, just as a correction to the newspaper, I noticed in the article that you, mentioned, I don't know who said it, it may have been the chief, I don't wanna point any fingers, but right at this point, we have no work session in December scheduled. So there may be, I don't know where you got,
I think he said that, but.
okay. Okay, there is no, and right now, there could be a need evolves and we may schedule one. But at this point, there is no work session on that date, so, okay, thank you.
We'll see. It's not yet.
Jimmy's not here, that's good. Okay, next, we ask our attorney to get some estimates for appraisals on Percy Street and on the gas station. You got those emailed to you. I think we should move forward with the Percy Street appraisal. And maybe hold off on the gas station appraisal because my information is Suffolk County is moving forward with their project at Montauk Highway and Riverhead Road. As a matter of fact, we have a conference call that's being arranged about that. As part of that project, they are taking some of that property. So I assume that for Suffolk County to take that property, they'll have to have an appraisal done. And maybe we could piggyback on that appraisal to get an estimate of, or something.
Well, maybe if the county takes some of the property that's kind of.
Well, it'll devalue some of the it'll devalue the property obviously, because it's smaller. Is that,
I'm almost positive that they, because we had a site plan for Valero on the northeast side. And with that, there's curb on both sides. With that application to Suffolk County DPW, they didn't already adjust the radius, keeping with their plan. And they also, because there's the owner, they got him to adjust the radius on the other side, so I think that has already been done. I think the county's.
so we might be able to get that information from the county.
I
Yeah.
did request a full set of comprehensive drawings based on the plans for that project, so we could review it before the conference call.
Okay.
So, they said they would get me whatever files they can. So now we have the setbacks, because right now that's the document, it's just kind of like an overlay environmental impact study, so it really doesn't give you the exact dimensions and widths, what I was trying to find. So I wanted to see the impact of the traffic that has all the dimensions in it allegedly.
Okay, all right. So, does the board agree we should move forward with the Percy Street appraisals, two of them?
Yes.
Yeah. And then hold off on the gas station appraisal?
Two appraisals of Percy Street.
I thought,
Two different.
well, we did for the other property on Boone Road. Is there no need? Do you think there's no need for this purpose?
No, I don't think so. I mean, right now, all you really wanna do is get some idea of what it's worth, so you can go to the neighborhood. And see what, I don't know, it's,
One should suffice right now.
It's all based on comps in that neighborhood anyway.
well, that one, the truth of the matter is, it's a mess, from what I understand. I don't know what
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is, well, it
because
is,
one of the appraisers that I sent an like request for proposal to, he said he really can't do it, he doesn't think it's really marketable at all because of the whole property. But,
Wouldn't you
Mayor
just,
said that, the Vinnie Gaudiello's
Vinnie
estimate
Gaudiello,
would have
yeah.
included something that would resolve that.
right, it
So-
was just the access way needs to be filled in and
Well, let's,
secured.
I would recommend not wasting money and just doing one and see what the
we
less
come up with.
expensive one's a very competent appraiser for
Okay.
residential
All
property.
right,
It's tough, it was 2,200 rough.
Some
So
and
for-
we legally don't need more than,
I thought it was
Well,
three
we're not
thousand.
acquiring, no, we don't really need more than one.
okay.
But the reason why we wanted to get two on the other is it was such a speculative piece of property, 35 feet wide, non-buildable.
Right.
Whereas here we have a clear, legal position. It clearly has, with the permit in place, after you subtract the cost of construction or the estimate, they have the right to put one house on there. And so it's not that subjective. I would think you don't want to waste it.
Okay.
There were two thousand West Parsons, and the Brunswick one was 3250.
I would go with Patty Parsons. She'll do it quicker and less expensive. And you want to get a sense of what you think the value is for purposes of marketing it, for purposes of talking to the neighbors. She'll take a look at the property probably. She may just say, wow, this is a real problem. I don't know, we'll find out.
Okay. But, and we'll put a resolution on the next meeting.
Yeah, I'll send you an email before that.
Okay, great. Anyone else on those? Okay, the next thing is the PAC update, for the December 5th event. I just wanted to share with the board that they've withdrawn their application to have, liquor being served at their hot chocolate trailer. So it used to be hot chocolate now, so we don't have to worry about the SLA and all that kind of stuff and the open container laws. So it's just gonna be what we did last year, which is fine. A lot easier. And I'm glad. Anything else, board members? We have an executive session for the public portion, anything else? Okay, good. All right, so I need a motion, I guess, this is the work session, so we're going into the executive session.
I probably should do technically a motion to go into a meeting of the board, not a work session, and then go.
And the reasons, okay.
Yes.
And the reasons which are on this. So in
Okay.
other words, you would open up the actual meeting and then immediately go into executive session.
Okay, so I have a motion, open up a meeting, go in and make second motion. Who's first? So moved and seconded, okay, all in favor? Aye. And now, we can go into executive session, so moved.
With the purpose of the executive, he's right, the purpose of it, we're going into an executive session to discuss